Okay, we get started. Real jazz. All right, stand by. All right, stand by. All right, stand by. Give me mic check.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yep. Okay, we're good. All right, stand by. In 5.
Welcome everyone to Clay's Couch here. This is your host, Clay D, the one and only, coming at you the best way that I know that I can. Tonight, I am pleased to welcome another special guest. That's right, folks. These guests keep on coming. And I am honored and privileged and pleasure tonight to have aboard on the virtual couch tonight. We have here a Dallas-based businesswoman and sales consultant and advisor. We have here Miss Charece Sims here with us tonight. Good evening, Miss Charece. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Clay. Thanks for asking. Good evening.
Good evening, Charece. Well, I'm definitely glad to have you on tonight for many reasons, but just from doing research on you, Charece, I am just very impressed. Just from what I hear about you for what you're doing in the sales landscape in Dallas right now. And I see that you got a lot of things manifesting in 2022. You certainly seem like a boss lady indeed, if I may compliment you on that. Could you have just explained to me, explain to the audience here for Clay's Couch, what is it exactly what you do and whom you work for and with?
Yes, and thank you for the compliments. You can keep them coming. I'm definitely, can never have too many of those. But I work actually in corporate America. I am a business advisor. I'm first a woman of God. I'm a mother and also an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for a little over 10 years in several different types of businesses. Today, what I'm mostly passionate about is just helping small businesses throughout the United States. I'm not just able to, I work all over the country, not just with the DFW and Dallas base that I currently, live in, but as a business advisor, I help small businesses gain access to the same type of online presence that big businesses have had for years. Now, before, big businesses and corporations, Fortune 500 companies and Fortune 1000 companies only had access to the social media and the Google ads and the websites and the search engine optimization that's involved and being found online for the consumer who was searching online. Since the pandemic about 2 years ago, we saw an increase, a very large increase in an online presence, meaning we were all situated at home, right? We could not go out anywhere. So, 2 years ago, every Sunday I was looking forward to going to the grocery store. Every Sunday with my daughter, that was our thing. That was how we bonded. And now I'm having my groceries delivered. That is how much commerce has changed. That is how much business has changed in the way that consumers like to choose who they do business with. And also, is it easy for business owners to do business? So it goes both ways. I work for the small business owner, but my specialty, and I can't stress this enough, is you have to be easy to do business with today. And one of the things that I actually speak to most of my clients about, let me just say this, many of my clients have been, doing business and been entrepreneurs for decades. I love working with those type of clients because those are the types of small business owners that I really get to help, really get to educate about how to do business online today. We're talking about business owners who don't even know, how to use a computer.
Oh, wow.
And, in order to do business with me as a consultant, because I do have a home-based business, you have to do a Zoom meeting with me. It's a must because I need to show you where your current online presence stands, what your goals are, and how I can help you achieve that. Now, today, a small business being online is just the cost of doing business. It's no longer an option if you want to sustain your business in the future. And what I mean by the cost of doing business, it's not just a website. That's not good enough. How easy is it to contact you via the website, social media, and then also any other platform like a business profile? There are about 70 local search directories. Yelp is one of them. Bing is another. YP.com is another, where your business profile can be listed. And the bottom line is that voice activated searches are growing. And surprisingly, voice activated searches, what I mean by that is Siri, Cortana, Google, Alexa. And there's another one that I'm missing. I think Bing. But voice activated searches are on the rise, surprisingly amongst the elderly, because they're just not computer savvy. So they'd rather ask their phone. So you have to be relevant in all of those different platforms. It's just the cost of doing business today as a small business. And I get to help business owners make that into reality. Because the bottom line is, and I'll kind of end my long-winded answer with this,
Good.
we just don't know. We just don't know how consumers are choosing to do business. Me, myself, at my age, I, like social media. If you don't have a Facebook business profile, I'm asking my friends for recommendations on who can fix my car because that's who I trust. So you have to have some type of business profile on Facebook so that my friends can recommend your business. It's word of mouth. Word of mouth is no longer happening in the grocery stores and in backyard picnics and at birthday parties. It's happening online. And if you've been in business for years and you get most of your business via word of mouth, you want that presence to be online for your business so you can protect that word of mouth business that you've owned over the decade.
Wow. That's impressive indeed, for sure, Ms. Charece. And just with all of that being said, as a sales consultant, business consultant that I'm gonna regard you as, especially for the sake of discounts discussion tonight, and I'm gonna ask in the broad term, but I want to break it down. What do you think will be the biggest sales trends in 2022? And the reason where I'm going with this before you answer, as I'm adding this in there, I would say that just from what I know of business and just from my own end, that I would say creativity is the new sales hack. One of the biggest sales trends, just from what I'm detecting, is creativity. I mean, we all know that may sound vague and not actionable at all, but that's the whole point. So if you could just describe, do you see creativity being a part of many sales hacks and one of the many big trends of 2022 for sales?
Wow, I wouldn't have actually come up with that answer. So I'd like you to elaborate if you can. I know you're interviewing me on why you say creativity is one of the biggest sales trends, but just to give you my perspective on that, I think that innovation is a must. And I think that creativity is a huge part of an innovative sales woman or sales rep or sales consultant, business advisor, account manager, strategic account manager. It's all the same. Because the world is changing at a rapid pace, faster than I can actually study up on my industry and my craft. Innovation is huge. You have to be able to adapt not only to the changing times, but also to your customer or your potential leads needs as well. And then if you work in technology like myself, I mean, technology is a billion-dollar industry that is innovative every day. When we talk about creativity and innovation in terms of what I do on a day-to-day basis, let's just mention Google. Google is the #1 search engine in the world. We all live in their playground. And if you want to be successful, you have got to have a Google presence. Hands down, I have rarely seen a business that has survived over these past 2 years since the pandemic without a Google presence. So when we talk about being innovative, right, and creative and quick on the fly with this whole thing called Google, let's talk about algorithms. And Google
Right.
is such a beast and such a strong force in nature, and it knows it is. These algorithms on Google, they change daily, hourly. So, if I don't have time to always study up on that, I just have to kind of think quick on the fly
Yeah.
and really be creative with my craft. And not only that, creativity is big in my world as a saleswoman, business advisor, what have you, because I have to be able to translate that to my
Yeah.
client who perhaps doesn't know about, half of the lingo. What is an algorithm? What is search engine optimization or SEO? What is search engine marketing? What's the difference between Google Ads and your Google My Business? So I'm oftentimes, and in my answer, what I think is the biggest trend is consultative sales. But I think that goes hand in hand with creativity. We'd make a great partnership one day, Clay. But I think that goes hand in hand with creativity, because while I'm doing consultative sales and really counseling and advising business owners on how to be relevant and have an online presence, I have to do it in a way that they understand. If I don't understand something at my level of sales and my level of education and my level of just general life knowledge, I always speak the same way. I always request, can you slow it down and explain it to me like I'm in kindergarten? And it's not to say that I'm dumb, and I'm not to say that my clients are dumb, but you don't know what you don't know. And I always say this, some of my clients are doctors and lawyers and just brilliant people, and then I also work with the everyday owner operator of an HVAC business, of glass and repairmen, of so many different industries that I work with. I work with that owner operator and their expertise in their industry. And I'm an expert in this particular type of knowledge of an online presence. So does that answer your question? Creativity paired with innovation.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think the Susan strategies for the Clay's Couch audience out there, that's one of my businesses and brands. So the Susan strategies is definitely going to be in contact with you. And just if I can elaborate on the creativity hacks and all that, definitely the consequences of Corona and all that, they have led to changes indeed for sure for most of the business world, not all the business world, because as you know, markets are expanding and saturating very, very rapidly. So with that said, sales folks like yourself, I'm sure, have to put in twice as much effort into meeting quotas and ensuring that their company stays alive and afloat. In a situation like this, it's risky business to rely on chance. Competition is, as you mentioned, is going to drive innovation. So it's really only a matter of time before the competition and competitors alike come up with a new concept and gain an advantage of basically moving first. So I would just say this before we transition: the only viable way to crack the code of sales success is to work smarter, not harder, if you would agree to that.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Listen, I actually just, gave a presentation today that I'm not a big fan of reinventing the wheel.
Yep.
But I do believe that, for productivity reasons, right, in order to be more productive, because let's just face it, in any sales position where there's a quota, activity drives sales. So I have to have that time to nurture my existing clients, to prospect for new clients, to market and brand myself. And I'm not exempt to an online presence. I as well have to have a Facebook business page, a presence on Facebook that requires me to post quite often. I also have to have a Google presence. I'm not exempt as well. I also have to have reviews. All of that matters today. Does that answer your question?
Oh, absolutely. And then some. So definitely for sure. So
30 seconds.
yeah, we're going to definitely pick this up just more on the other side of our break here. But just think about this as we go into the break. Do you think that we will see more sales automation in 2022? It's kind of a rhetorical question, but I'm just going to go into a deeper dive on the other side of this break. We're going to be back with more Clay's Couch after this pause.
Awesome. 3, 1.
Welcome back to Clay's Couch here. This is your host, Clay D, the one and only, coming at you the best way that I can. And we are continuing with the lovely Miss Charece Sims tonight, who is a business advisor and a sales consultant. So right before the break, Charece, I had asked you just to think about what do you think of sales automation, and if we're going to see more of that in 2022. And just to give you some context as you answer that question, common misconception will say that automation loses from creativity and personalization as you try to scale the process, but this isn't the case. I would say that actually, just from my background and my know-how, it actually fosters creativity as you delegate more laborious routine tasks to dedicated software. So with that being said, you have more time to spend on brainstorming and can come up with more creative ways to sell your products or services and personalize your offers. It's a win-win. So what do you think of sales automation just in general going into the new year?
Well, I like your answer. It definitely provides more time to foster, innovation and, so that you can work on new ideas. I think that automation works different for everyone in terms of, what I have researched about you, Clay, working smarter and not harder definitely is in your favor because you have that creative brain that, leaving more time for that can only be a benefit to, in a testament to, what it is that you do and plan to do and you're, in what you inspire to do in the future. When it comes to automation in terms of my world, I have two kind of perspectives for that, and I'll touch upon both. Yep. The first is kind of hitting upon what you asked me in terms of automation in the sales world. And it's always best for me, again, and I'm going to just drive home the working smart, not hard. I need time to drive activity, and I have to be creative and innovative to do that. And the way that I do that is through automation. I need, a way to reach out to my clients in the masses. Or I need a way to perhaps, do what I do on a daily basis, but have it working for me in the background. Now, there's a couple of different creative ways that I do that to manage my day to day. But, what it leaves time for is for me to, again, work on that activity that's going to lead to, just a partnership, if you will, not a sale, but a partnership with a small business owner. But also the conversations that I have and the consultations that I have with business owners, a good one requires about an hour. So, when you schedule with me, you're gonna get a 30-minute block or a 1 hour block. And it requires several of those meetings on occasion with one particular client or potential client, because there's just so much that I need to know about your business. So I need a way to work smarter so that I can have that time to foster my relationship with my existing clients and also my potential clients. And it all starts with a great conversation. When I meet with potential clients and even my existing clients and just checking in with them on their online presence that I've helped to design, I want to know about your world and your industry. I don't know what it is to be a podiatrist or, I don't to fix cars. And I'm so intellectually curious. I cannot represent your company online or your business online in your best interest if I do not partner with you and know what it is that you do. Yeah. And not only what it is that you do and the services that you provide, I want to know how you work. I want to know, do you prefer a phone call or an email? Do you even answer your emails? I want to know how often you check your email. I want to know if you are in the field as an owner operator, or if your work van is your actual office, or are you in the office at all? I need to know about all of this so that I can propose an online plan that would work for you as the business owner. So that's in terms of, automation in my world. As a successful, business advisor or sales consultant, it's all the same. I just have a passion to help people every day. And that's what makes my job fun, right? When I get out of bed every day, honestly, and I get dressed and I come to work, commute to work, in the next room in my office. I
Right.
am so excited to help a small business owner. It sounds cheesy, but sales is fun when you love what it is that you do and you have a passion for it. Now, on the flip side, the B answer to that is automation in terms of my clients, right? Because I provide a way for them to automate their business as well. But they're not like the jack of all trades. They're owner operators. And when it comes to working smart and not hard, there are two things. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. You will always hear me say that. So, for instance, if you're a business and the way that you like to thank your clients, your customers, is you like to write handwritten notes, okay? That takes a lot of time. You've got to write the note, you've got to look up their address, you've got to get envelopes, you've got to put them inside the envelope, you've got to get stamps, you've got to place each stamp on individual envelopes, you've got to take them to the post office. I mean, that requires a lot of time and effort. And when it comes to, the myth that automation will lose touch, that personal, customer service, with your client or your customer, it is just that. It's a myth. And the reason why I say that is, listen, Mr. Business Owner, I'm not trying to tell you to stop writing those handwritten letters, okay? What I am trying to say is, let's find a way to do it to the type of customer or client that prefers a handwritten thank you via email or text, because it's important for you as a business owner to do it both ways, right? That audience of customers and clients who are baby boomers, right? We're not going to say an age, we're going to say a generation. Baby boomers, they might appreciate, a handwritten letter. But for me, at my age, and I'm, a mother and my daughter's in dance, and listen, I appreciate that email. If you want me to review your business online, I appreciate that text and making it easy for me. What I tell business owners who are owners operators, let me free up some time for you, okay? I'm not saying to stop meeting with your customers face to face. I'm not saying to stop writing that handwritten letter. I'm saying where I can free up some time and automate some things, like the biggest thing that I do for my clients is appointments, right? Let's automate confirming the appointment. Instead of you calling each one to confirm, let's send a text message. Let's send an email automatically. You know how much time that frees up for my business owners who are owner operators? So my job is to make your life easy, okay? We don't want to change things. I just want to make your life easier with automation. And automation is a huge part of what I do, as well as online presence. So, when it comes to not only having an online presence, and doing automation through your social media, you can schedule out things, and doing automation through, being contacted through your website, you can automatically set replies so that, whoever reaches you after hours, like me, who's the mother, most of my things that I'm handling is late at night and I'm sending an email. It's nice to get that automated email that you've received my message. So let's just make, your life easier.
Definitely. I agree. I agree with that completely. Back in the old days when I was out and about going to conferences for the Suitor strategies and such, I would even go to conferences like American Dental Association, and I would just talk to young dentists, and I'm like, I want to learn as much of this industry as much as you know about it, because it helps me service you a lot better with marketing services and even public relations services as needed. But just to kind of just provide my own thoughts, professional thoughts on just with automation. I mean, in the best way simply to process any sales is through CRM, which you kind of touched on before, because it does allow your outreach simply to set your drip campaigns, if you're familiar with that term. And it also helps visualize your sales pipelines so you can manage them more efficiently and effectively. I mean, you just have to choose the right CRM system carefully. And I've used different types of CRMs, even working on political campaigns. You have a CRM for that. One brand in particular is called NGP Van. Another one's called Every Action. Another one's called Act Blue when it comes to fundraising and donations and all. So find the one that offers the most appropriately functionality to match your business workflows is very essential. So yeah, I mean, still, at the end of the day, it isn't just a CRM system. That's going to help transform or help you automate the sales process. It's going to take everything related to sales process optimization with the software and or hardware means it will fall under this category. So those are just my 2 cents really on that. So
let me give you 5 cents on top of that, Clay.
sure, go for it.
Having a CRM or a customer relationship management system, if you will, is a huge part of what I do. I mentioned that, having a website, a social media presence, and I'm just not talking about Facebook. I'm talking about Instagram, LinkedIn. Google My Business is actually a social media presence as well. There's a lot of social posting that goes along with Google My Business, and it is a growing social media, a facet of just an online presence. But also, in terms of a CRM, it's just the cost of doing business today. Having a CRM, having a place to house all of your customers and your potential leads, not only for automation purposes, okay? When I talk about a CRM, I'm talking about that business owner who writes everything down and doesn't have, any type of CRM or any type of cloud-based CRM, if you will, that houses all of that information. So we talk about, the what ifs, right? Natural disasters, fires, if a disgruntled employee or someone, grabs all of your customer information, what are you going to do, right? Having that CRM is really just the cost of doing business, and it protects your interest. And then for some of my clients who have been, in business for decades, they're nearing retirement. And if you have an online presence and a CRM already with your book of business ready to go, it just makes your business a lot more profitable when you go to sell. So again, it's not a choice. In my opinion, it's really the cost of doing business having a CRM. Now, in terms of what I provide to my clients and potential clients, when I talk about a CRM, you mentioned like finding one for, this purpose and that purpose, strip campaigns and, different things. I am a huge fan of, working smart with CRMs as well and not hard. So I only focus on a type of CRM that is going to be all encompassing. So when I talk about the CRM that I provide to my clients, it's going to be ideal for the small business owner because it is one CRM that houses your website, your social media, your drip and marketing campaigns, all of your customer information in terms of the contact information. It houses your leads, the one that got away, the one that contacted you on your website. It also houses invoicing and estimate. You can also use it to manage payments and actually transfer from taking cash and just swiping things in the field to your clients being able to pay you online through their website, which is huge and convenient, right? Nobody wants to carry cash anymore. It's gross with the pandemic. So why not give them a way to pay through your website? So when I say the type of CRM that I talk to my clients about and that I only deal with is a jack of all trades. It's one place for all of your business needs. It really truly is. And I'm a big fan of convenience and providing that. So I love to talk to my clients about one CRM for all of your business needs. Let's make it easy for you, right? For me, it's just difficult for me to remember all my passwords. So when we talk about a business owner, if we could just have one login, one password for all of these business needs, not only for your online presence, but your CRM, your advertising, and your marketing, come on, and you hit the lottery. And then, a cloud-based service. So, really on a desktop version or on the go, through an app. That's the type of CRM that I deal with. The trick is to, consult with business owners and really get them to self-realize that they have a need for it, because it's not easy for someone who's been doing business for years on a paper calendar to trust that type of service.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you for all of that, Miss Charece. And we're certainly going to pick up more on the other side. But thank you for everyone, and keep tuning in to Clay's Couch here tonight, right here on WRJR.
I stretched it out so she could talk more.
Okay.
3, 1.
Welcome back to Clay's Couch here. This is your host, Clay D, the one and only, coming at you the best way that I can. And I'm continuing and just having a fun, good conference networking like conversation on the couch with Miss Charece Sims, who is a Dallas-based business advisor and sales consultant, but she serves everyone all throughout the world, kind of like what I do here with the Susan Strategies and through Clay's Couch. But this is almost like it's being replicated, like if I'm networking with someone at a couch over in a conference or such. So that being said, just to kind of talk more into sales and everything, because I really love your insight on this and your intelligence on it. It's just it's blowing my mind.
Keep them coming. Thank you.
Definitely. And we're gonna have to connect soon. Regarding business offline on this, because you just bring so much to the table here with your knowledge and know-how, and it's beyond just surface level. It's honestly, this is like PhD executive level stuff. But what do you think of value-based selling? Are you familiar with value-based selling?
Oh, absolutely. More so, in the beginning of my sales career, when I had a longer sales cycle, and I was basically doing $1 million deals. So when you get into, any type of product or service that is expensive, you have to provide that product or service. You have to close that deal based upon value. I am not a fan of assuming that my client can or cannot pay for a service. In fact, when we talk about value-based sales, price should not even come up until the end, okay? Until you're ready to actually ask for the business. Because, when you provide a value to a product, you create a need and you create a sense of urgency. And what I mean by need is you want that potential client or existing client who's, buying more services and doing more business with you. You want them to need and find true value in whatever it is that you're providing. And then, if they do, then cost is not an issue. Price is not an issue. And for me, what I do is I like to talk to my clients, this is not a cost overhead price, this is an investment. Your business and doing an online presence and having a CRM and a social media and hiring me, this is an investment, and it's only going to pay dividends to your business. So when we talk about value and, the type of consultative sales that I do, it's important to, interview my clients and find out, how they do business and what their business needs are, because I have to then translate that to the type of product or service that, I'm doing at the moment. And that's not always an easy craft, right? Yeah. So, that's how I get my potential clients and my existing clients to recognize value, but that's just not enough, okay? I have to solve a problem for that business, okay? Because if I find an area of opportunity, right, for that business or a growth opportunity, if you will, I have to get them to self-realize that it is a problem, right? And the way that I do that is, how is this impacting your business? How is having a calendar schedule impacting your business? How is not having a way to communicate with people after 5 p.m. and not having any automation set up impacting your business? Do you feel like you're losing out on any potential revenue? Are you losing your existing clients and customers to businesses who are more innovative with an online presence? Once I get someone, a small business owner, to self-realize, if self-realize that they have a problem that is impactful, then they see the value, okay? And then I then relate whatever their problem, their business problem is, and how it's impacting their business to what it is that I can do, and how I can help. And then I provide a recommendation, a solution. I always, recap what we've discussed, what I've learned, right? And this is just my consultative way of providing value and, what it is that I do. But I always recap, what it is that I've learned about the business. But the most important recap is that self-realization from the business owner, right? What the problem is that we're trying to solve today. What would you like your business to look like in the future? What are your business goals? And most important, I have got to recap how that problem is impacting your business now, how it has impacted your business in the past, and how it will impact your business in the future. And then once I recap that, I provide the solution or the recommendation. And, top-down selling is a thing of the past for me. There are so many different facets of a recommendation or solution for what it is that I do and what I advise. It really has to be a good fit to the business advisor. So that is only what I recommend. At that point, it doesn't become about price or, anything like that. It becomes about value. And so oftentimes I have clients and potential clients who are just ready to pull the trigger. And we haven't even discussed what it would cost. And surprisingly, what I'd like to reiterate, this is 2022 almost, okay? Small businesses can afford an online presence. It is extremely affordable, okay? That is my specialty, okay? If you have a Fortune, 500 business company and you want to work with me, that's not what I do. That's not my passion. Not that I'm not accustomed to doing that, but the specialty that I provide in the consultative type of advising that I do with an online presence is with a small business owner. And the reason why I have a passion for working with them and helping small business owners, that owner operator on the grind every day, is because of the available resources that, they now have access to, but they didn't know before. And it's so affordable. We're not talking about thousands of dollars a month. We're talking about hundreds in some cases.
Absolutely. I would just certainly just offer again my 2 cents of to value-based selling. You make a lot of good points, Ms. Charece, but I would say that it just sounds very counterintuitive, but the best tip for boosting sales in 2022 for me, if I'm going to add my professional opinion on this, I would say it's to stop trying to sell. And here's why I say that, as you kind of alluded to already. Gone are the days when you could shove an offer into a prospect's face and expect them to accept it just because it's an offer they can't refuse, quote unquote. And the new year, I would say, I would even predict just myself, and you can agree or disagree on this, but I would say that customers and clients would be sick and tired of being treated like cash cows, especially in the B2B, parenthesis, business to business world. I mean, you could lower the price of your product. But let's be real here. Every for-profit business's goal is to generate as much revenue as possible. Let's just be honest with ourselves. Giving out discounts like there's no tomorrow is likely to send you into bankruptcy before anything else. Before changing your prices, you should change your leads perception of your offers. So this is why I think implementing a value-based selling strategy will work as well. I want to tell you this. I went to a game over here in Raleigh a few weeks back, and it was free. And what surprised me, I mean, of course, they had different levels like VIP, whatnot, but for the general, it was free. And the guy, he's going to be a Clay's Couch guest soon. So I'll definitely will let you know when he's on. He had said that about last week or so during Thanksgiving break, I saw on Instagram, he had said that, and Facebook, that I'm either going to make this free or I'm going to send you at the full top hour. The reason being is I'm not going to shortchange myself. There's not going to be in between. I'm not going to be giving discounts. It's either going to be, you're either going to get the experience for free or you're going to pay for top dollar. And that really had me really had me thinking, don't lowball ever. So that's just how I think there. I mean, because too often prospects shut down an offer without even giving you a chance to elaborate on it because they think that the price is too high. So I would think that value-based selling overcomes this particular problem. So identifying your prospects' needs and wants before tailoring your offer to them. So, and you probably know this just from managing sales reps, but this could even be helpful. Entry-level sales reps sell features. Advanced ones sell the outcomes their products creates for the buyer. So make the offer appealing to leads by highlighting the benefits that they're going to get out of it. I mean, you got to know your product or your service or brand, or sometimes in my cases, in the other world that I live in, candidate or cause, especially in the nonprofit world, because they're selling in that too. It's just called fundraising and donations. But by doing that, by knowing your product, service, candidate, etc., whatever it might be, and understand why it works for the customers or any other stakeholder involved.
Yeah, precisely. Gone are the days, like you said, where you're kind of shoving a deal down a prospect's face. Perhaps you're knocking the price off just to close a sale. But let's talk about churn and retaining that client. Let's talk about how long they're going to do business with you after you have valued the product or service that you provide by, halving the price. Let's talk about the potential for that client to be truly happy with, your product or service that you're providing, because they purchased, from you. They're partnering with you, based upon price solely, not value. So it's so important to not devalue yourself. I can just think of, in my personal world, beauticians, hairstylists, right? I'm a woman who loves to get my hair done and my nails done, and prices are all over the place, but good hairstylists will always say, my price is what it is. I strongly believe in my craft and what it is that they do, and they're not slashing prices for anybody. And because of that, when you do good work and you come back based upon the value that they're providing and that bomb hairstyle that they're doing for you, it doesn't become about price. Additionally, I think it's important to make it make sense when price becomes an issue or an objection that you're overcoming, because it happens, right? In the sales world, you'll get that different type of buyer, right? Someone who just wants to negotiate just for the heck of it because they can, or someone who is used to, receiving a discount just because they ask, right? You'll get different types of buyers. So I think it's important to talk about a return on investment, when you're providing the type of service that I'm providing, the type of, a consultative business advising, if you will, that I'm providing. It's got to make sense for the business owner, for them to be able to do, to partner with me. And in order to do that, I have to ask about what's the average cost of their particular, of their sale, or, whatever it is that they're doing. So I can get an idea of, is the service and the package and the consultation that I'm recommending, does it make sense to the business owner? And a lot of them won't flat out tell you because they want to, oftentimes it's none of your business. They don't want to, speak to you about what they can and can't afford. So, it's my job as, a seasoned, consultant, business advisor, saleswoman, it's all the same to me, to be able to ask those questions that can uncover, what their budget is, and then, give them an ROI, or return on investment.
Got it. So right before we go on the other side of a yet another break here, I'm going to ask you this, and just think about, let this simmer. do you think social selling is essential? Think about that for a moment, and I'll hear your response to that on the other side. But we're gonna have more on Clay's Couch with Miss Charece Sims over here on WRJR.
Yo,
Welcome back to Clay's Couch here. This is your host, Clay D, the one and only, coming at you the best way that I know how to. And we are here with Miss Charece Sims here, and this is our final segment. So we're going to kind of streamline this, but with several more questions before. Unfortunately, we had to let you go for the evening. Like I said, I wish we had bonus coverage for this for sure. But before the break, I had asked you, Miss Charece, what do you think of social selling, and do you think social selling is essential in 2022 as a top sales trend?
I could go for weeks about the importance of social selling, but for purposes of time, I'll make it quick and brief. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, right? Is it important to have a social media presence and generate, business that way? The answer is absolutely yes. Facebook is the third largest search engine in the world. Lots of business being done on Facebook. The second largest search engine is YouTube. Lots of businesses being done on YouTube. They're all aspects of social selling. And, a lot of the things that I hear from potential clients is, I don't like Facebook. I don't like what it's showing. I don't like, especially during the, election year. I just don't use it. I don't have a social media presence. Why do pizza companies sell anchovy pizza?
Yeah,
It's not because, it's everyone's favorite. It's because there's a need for it. People like it. So, you have to use some type of social selling because there's a huge audience for it. You'll be missing out on business if you don't.
absolutely. Absolutely. Now, for sure. Now, here's another question as far as what I see being a trend in 2022, one of the top sales trends for 2022. What would you think about this? Think about this real quick. Customer success over customer support. And this is how I'm going to present this to you right quick here. And now, another way to convince customers to make a purchasing decision is by persuading them that you're genuinely and generally interested in their business success. So instead of focusing on understanding customer support, you should prioritize providing a more positive, a more holistic customer experience. So therefore, you're shifting your focus and implementing, I would say, a customer success strategy that can multiply by the change of customer priorities caused by the pandemic, obviously. So it's no longer enough to produce high quality product and promote it to a large audience, because customers are more demanding than ever before, unless they are 100% sure that the solution that they invest their money in will work for them and that they're not going to settle for it. So I would say you must be the perfect fit for your customers to stay loyal to your brand and keep generating for sales. Do you agree with customer success or customer support, what I just highlighted here?
Absolutely, 1000%. I'm not sure if anyone has noticed that when you call into, like a call center to ask a general question, we're seeing a very large increase in a customer success type of, response versus a customer support. In my opinion, the difference is quite simple. Customer support is kind of that order taker, if you will. And, customer success is really focused upon retention and the lifetime value of a client.
Yeah, for sure. And, just with that said, just to parlay it over, do you think, Mr. Reese, that sales and marketing teams will be more aligned together in 2022? You think that basically these trends will bring your teams closer together? Because sales is no longer just about the sales team, I would say. I mean, the customer journey has moved into a digital space, and all departments pretty much have a step in the path to conversion. Customer support supports the customers. The IT guys keep an eye on the website and other channels of communication. The sales team, as you know, manages the sales pipeline and customer relationships and marketing. Well, they do the rest of it. Do you think that in 2022, that marketing and sales teams can work wonders together?
Absolutely. In terms of just that standard corporate structure, when I think about the duties of a marketing team, for me, it's about research, right? Industry research, providing campaigns and pricing and promotions that would really be applicable during that time. For me, the goal of a marketing team is to kind of work hand in hand with sales to provide us with tools that would be, give us the success that we need in terms of, research of our industry, our products, standard pricing, promotional pricing. So absolutely, I've been working hand in hand with the marketing department for as long as I can remember. And, in 2022, sales and marketing are be one and the same. Whether we're partnering together or if that salesperson, business advisor, for me, it's all the same, is actually doing marketing and sales. You have to be a jack of all trades to be successful, and especially in 2022.
All right, cool. I definitely. Do you think there'll be more video for sales? And what I mean by that is the image is worth basically 1,000 words. I'm sure you know that saying. I would just say the standard for videos should probably be like 24 seconds, 24 frames per second. So you can imagine how much information in a short video clip can communicate. Obviously, the lockdowns from last year globally pretty much prove that, with Google Meet, Zoom, go figure, Microsoft Teams, YouTube, Netflix, and Hulu, those images flash in front of our eyes faster than ever, and we're getting used to it. So I would say in 2022, leveraging video and stepping away from long text to communicate the value of your offer. This past year alone, 2021, I would say that we saw video make its grand entrance as the world of sales, and I would say it's here to stay. Would you agree with that? That notion?
Absolutely. Because I'm not able to meet with my clients, Zoom is a big part of what I do. One of my favorite authors is a sales guru. His name is Jet Blunt, and he recently actually just wrote a book on virtual selling. It is a great read, but he has a huge chapter in there about the effectiveness of Zoom meeting with your clients and the increase in your closing ratio. And I'll end with this. When it comes to what you're saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words. The conversion rate is 80% higher if you have some type of visual effect, and video is huge. I talk to my clients about that all the time. Having a video on your website is critical because when someone visits your website, you have 6 seconds to impress them. That's it.
Yeah, definitely. I worked for Cisco years back, and we were selling routers and switches, and I was pretty heavy on promoting presentations and webinars in addition to white papers and any data sheet out there. But with that said, do you see webinars and podcasts, like that's what we're doing here? You think that would be great for lead generation, just to piggyback off of that as well?
That's a huge part of the conversation that I have with my more advanced clients who have been with me for 6 months to a year. Webinars, blogs, video blogs, podcasts are a huge part of your SEO and search engine marketing that is going to increase your chances of showing up and rank organically. Now, I'm not going to get too far in the weeds. We can continue that conversation on another day, but absolutely it is a must.
Oh, wow, that's definitely, I agree with you wholeheartedly there. I mean, this interview here pretty much can help with your business, I will definitely would like to say, and vice versa for sure. So definitely you will have copy of this. Little shameless plug, Clay's Couch. It serves everybody and everything. It can help you with public affairs, political campaigns, sell your vacation destinations, like what happened last week during Thanksgiving, and now sales strategies here.
Yes, and I'll say this, I'll end with this, anyone can book a consultation with me through my Facebook. And I'm sure Clay is going to go ahead and let you all know how to get in touch with me. But the best way is to book a consultation through my Facebook, Charece, Charece, the business advisor. My knowledge right now is free just to have a conversation with me.
Definitely. You heard it right there. Normally at the end of Clay's Couch, I ask for guests to provide their information, and there you go. That's the best way to reach Charece right now, is from Charece, the business advisor, on Facebook. Again, Charece, C like Charlie, H for Harry, A for Apple, R for Randy, E for Echo, C for Charlie, E for Echo, the business advisor. She truly is indeed the business advisor. And I wouldn't expect, I expect big things out of you in 2022. But I definitely know you have to go for sure. And thank you for the time, Mr. Reese, for being here, especially on a Thursday evening. But definitely next time, we would love to have you back on Clay's Couch anytime, virtually. And I would even love to do it in person if you will allow. We can definitely do the show. Of course, for the audience, Clay's Couch will be on the road soon, for sure.
I'd love to meet with you. I know you are an entrepreneur with several businesses. Of course, I will be back, and thank you for having me and giving me this platform and opportunity to speak about what I love to do every day.
Gotcha. You go. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Reese, and we will call it a night right now. But again, just like to thank everyone for tuning into Clay's Couch tonight. The playback will be available soon, so definitely check my social media for that at CDeSouza at CDESOUZA 39 for sure, and definitely check the playback, and it will be up on the WRJR YouTube page for sure for Clay's Couch. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And I want to thank my engineer here for Clay's Couch, Ron Hamilton, on the other end for that. But thank you everyone again, and you have a good night, and we'll see you next week here on Clay's Couch, where we will have Blake Bibbs, who is a congressional aide for Congresswoman Joyce B. She will be on this time slot. So have a good night, everyone, until then. So be on the lookout.
All right, we're clear.